Good morning. Didn't rain. Yeah, we didn't get any rain yesterday. Didn't register at all. So we're gonna go side dress that last 72 acre field that we've got to do here today. Get that one done. Dad's gonna run me a tank. We have 2 full ones. We're gonna need just a little bit more than that. But this shouldn't take us real long. And then we might go see about starting to rain up after that. They're calling for a bunch of rain towards the middle and end of next week now. So I don't know if we need to start it up, but we might just do it just to make sure everything is running good, make sure we get everything hooked up right, make sure we don't need to fix anything before we get to the point where we need to run it really bad. So I don't know, we'll see. But let's head to the field. Fueling the tractor up here before we take off. So this field that we've got to go to is the farthest one away that we have been to since we put the new track on. It's about 7 or 8 miles. Now most of it's dirt roads to get there, but I'm going to throw a little bit of talc here into this track, the new one. Now we're getting a few hours on it now to the point where it's pretty well broke in, but it isn't going to hurt anything, so we're going to throw this in there. Basically, you want to throw the talc in between these front idler wheels. It kind of gets caught up in this edge, and then it just kind of keeps falling out as they roll, and it falls on these surfaces here and lubricates them and keeps them from getting sticky and keeps them from building up so much heat. Back in our familiar seat here. This is not a great farm. Looks like we got a drowned out spot over there. So this was the one I was telling you when we were planting that, you know, there was a lot of little pockets. It's very rolling compared to a lot of our stuff. There was one spot up over here. I think we had to plant around a little bit, not a lot, but we'll see how many of these other little pockets we lost. I think we had more rain here than we did back at the farm, and it was probably a little worse than some of our other fields, but the corn that's here looks good. I'm pretty happy with it. The ground is very hard though. I am noticing that it's taking a lot of pressure to keep the bar in the ground. My back gauge wheels are floating. See that? See how that wheel's sideways? It's floating. Might need to turn my pressure down a little bit actually, but that's what all those weights back there are for, is weight to keep the openers in the ground, because it's pressing down on the bar. If you don't have that weight, the bar just comes up, and so we hang weights off of there to keep it in the ground, and well, it's floating. That tire is not, there it's turning. There it's in the ground, kind of. But yeah, this ground is, this is gonna be hard done. Yeah, we lost a big hole here. I did plant through all of this. But it's still a little wet right here in the center. I think we can float right across it. We did lift the bar up a little bit though. Oh yeah, made some ruts. When I get my 6-row corn planter I'm going to use tomorrow, maybe I'll have to come over here and piece in what I can. Obviously won't get that passed, but we can get all the rest of it. Well, we're working our way across here. Another little pocket here that drowned it out. I think we'll bring a planter over. It's, you know, 31st of May, and I fully understand that, you know, those are small spots. It's not a big deal, but if I can plant something in there and get, you know, 150 in, I'm guessing between this field, one we did yesterday, and maybe 1 or 2 other ones, I might do 5 acres total. Yeah, that's probably not worth it, but it makes me feel better. It'll keep the weeds down a little bit better. The corn will, you know, we'll harvest at the same time. It'll blend in. It'll be a little wetter, but it's small enough pockets. It's not a big deal. So it's mostly to make me feel better, and not actually because I think replanting corn is going to make me any money. Well, I am glad I had Dad get me an extra tank today, because we just ran the 2 that Brock had here out, and we're about 3 or 4 acres to go. So I thought it would be close, but wasn't gonna have quite enough. I was right. So we'll drop this one here where it's hopefully out of the way and not gonna roll down the hill. And and we'll hook onto there. We just got one more round to make in this one pass on these ends. All right, we made it back to the farm and parked the tractor. It's about lunchtime, and cousins are here and stuff, so we're doing a little grilling. We'll get back to stuff here this afternoon. Let's head up to the irrigated field. Let's go fire up our rain machine. So I grabbed some tools. We're gonna walk out there to the riser and get the connection made and then see what happens. See if we can't get this thing to fire up and make sure it's gonna work like it's supposed to. I forgot. I need a plug. So we had made this up last fall for hooking up an air compressor to blow the lines out. And I thought, well, I'm going to just leave that bell on there and we'll get a 1-inch plug to put in there. And I forgot, because we had a 3-inch cap before. I could just take that off and put the cap back on. But yeah, we're going to not be able to fire it up until we get that. It's all right. We can go hook up the stuff out there. Make sure our base station is on. Yeah, that panel, that one's on. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to run out and get the hose and everything out there hooked up at least, and then we can check it out. Or we'll go find a plug and hook it up, turn it on. I mean, we could turn it on there, but water's going to shoot 30 feet into the air, so, you know, we'll know if it turns on. Pump if the well turns on anyway. That pipe and that pipe need to get bolted together, and they have to do it back here where we can attach our anchor chains so that we don't pull on the hose. So we got to start up the machine and spit out a little hose, and then we can go from there. All right, connection made. We've got our chains on there, so if for some reason it pulled on it, they will anchor it and keep it from pulling the hose apart or damaging our riser. But that never happened last year. I don't anticipate it happening this year. Yeah, everything looks good there. Machine should be in good shape. Yeah, we may still want to look at new rollers there. Those do turn. They were tight the other day. I had Brock take them off and go through them. They do turn, but they're pretty tight. We want to put this in automatic mode. That means that it will unwind the hose and lay it out as it moves. We had it in manual mode to walk it out here because we didn't want it to lay it down. So that's what we want there. From this end of it, we should be good. So we gotta go find a plug and cap off that port on our well, or pipe, and then we can try and fire it up. Take my tools with me. I'll let that run so it charges the battery up a little more. It started fine, but it'll shut off on its own if it idles for so long and the battery is fully charged. Pretty sure that's the part we need. I brought a smaller one just in case I don't know how to tell sizes. Good news, I can in fact tell sizes. All right, put a little tape and pipe dope on there and twist it in. Well, best way I know to test this is to hit run. That should trigger the well to turn on. This is not a good spot to stand. Should trigger the well to turn on. I want to make sure everything's working here, and then we're going to walk out to the machine. How do I know when it's... Does that say it's supposed to be on? Because we're not. I turned the breaker on. We might have to open up the panel. Look. Are we moving? Doesn't appear to be. Let me figure out what's going on here. Okay, it's moving. All right, we got a little green line. It says running at the top. But it might have to get onto the first path and kind of lined up before it will turn the well on. So I'm going to sit here and let it run for a second. And we'll see. We'll just keep watching it. Well, it's making the turn. We can see that here. We'll wait for it to make the second turn and then see what it says. Okay, it has made the turn. So we're going to watch on the phone here. It says running. It should stop here and say building pressure, if I remember right. Oh, we've got water. It's going to take a minute to build pressure because the hose and everything is empty. When that stops leaking, we'll know we've got pressure, but right now it's just filling the hose. Oh, maybe not. You can still hear water running, so it's still going. There's a ball in there. It's like a one-way check valve to let air in, pressure or air relief valve. That ball should float up. I don't think it is right now. Never said building pressure though, so I'm not sure why. Do we have any pressure? No. Okay, well, it seems okay. I mean, it's running. Just going to take a second for everything to fill up and to pressurize and get through the machine. Once I feel like we're pressurized, we'll walk out there. I'm reasonably sure we're getting water through here. I mean, we had water there, but we can test that. Yep. So we're just still filling the pipe. It's taken a while. I mean, it's probably been 5 minutes. And it's still filling. Of course, we also have to fill all of the hose on the machine, so it's not just the 6-inch buried pipe from here to the riser, it's then the 3,000 feet of 3-inch hose on the machine itself that has to get all of the air purged out of it. So it's a lot of gallons, and we're pumping about 230, 235 gallons a minute through our well. But yeah, it's gonna take a while to fill all of that up. Oh, we're starting to build some pressure here. I think we should be around 10 if I remember right. I don't know if we'll notice any changes here or not. I'm assuming at this point the or not option. .9, 4.8, 5.8. Doesn't seem to be building any, so. All right, well, let's walk out there and see what that looks like. We might have to make some adjustments. Our well is run off of VFD, so if we're not getting enough water, we can adjust our VFD and make it pump more. Yeah, let's walk out here. You guys, check this thing out. Oh, this is so cool. Everything is good. Everything is perfect. We had, I wasn't building quite enough pressure there. We were only at 5. Well, turns out there's a drain valve on the bottom of the bucket, we call it up here. Let me show you. Let me turn the camera. So right up there is what we call the bucket. Basically, the water is coming off the reel, going up, and then it goes into the kind of the distributor out to each individual row. Well, you see that red handle? That's a drain valve, and it was draining. It was draining. The hose comes down and out somewhere in there, and we were putting water down the middle. But I closed that. Our pressure went up to about 7.5. Perfect. And look at this. Look at where it's putting the water. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, we are just putting it right exactly where we want. Center of the rows are dry. I set my row cleaners down on the planter to try and create just that little furrow to hold that water, and it's working beautifully. So this thing will just sit here and run, fully autonomous, all day, all night, and water our corn. 12 rows at a time. So you'll notice that we're only watering the outside 3 drops on each side. When it gets to the end here, it's gonna stop, It's gonna switch a valve, and then it's gonna start watering the inside 6 drops as it picks the hose back up and walks right back down these same paths. Oh man, look at that. That is awesome. And you can see we've got a fair bit of water here. Like, we're only putting on 3/10 of an inch, or maybe 0.32 or something. But that would be if it was spread across the entire surface of the ground. So we're concentrating that water right on the rows, essentially making it about a 6/10 of an inch rain because we're concentrating it in half as much surface area. This water is going to soak in and water those plants, and oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I love this thing. This is so cool. I did make a phone call to the dealer real quick just to make sure and verify some of my settings and pressures and everything that we want. So thank you, Taylor, for answering the phone and going through all that with me. If you guys need a rain machine and you live anywhere in the eastern United States, from what I understand, give Taylor a call over at Rooted Ag Service. He's somewhere in Indiana, just south of Fort Wayne. These guys know what they're doing. They do a great job for me. I've been really happy with them. So it's running. We're gonna walk back here a little bit. Then we're gonna walk out there. I was gonna show you where it started the water, where we finally made the pressure. We had a little iron. We had a little iron in the water stream, or in the hose, pipe and hose from last year. So we started over there by our riser. It went out to my rows that run perpendicular to the center, and it came over, and then it made this 90-degree turn and hooked up with these rows. And it was walking this way while we were still building pressure, and then we got water. Yeah, it pushed all that dried up, settled out iron out of the hoses real fast. I don't think these plants will have an iron deficiency. But anyway, so there's the outside drops, and you can see where it was dropping water in the center here. That was coming out of that valve that we shut, the drain valve there. And then once we got up there a little ways, it started watering outside, and the pressure came up and is exactly where we want it. And I'm so thrilled with the way this thing is working. So one of the tweaks that we can make if we need to is to kind of turn these drops. You see this one here, this one's not quite getting it to the row. We might need to twist that back a little bit, but we kind of had them turned because if they're straight, it throws it too far and the water it goes right past the rows. So you gotta tweak them to get just the right angle to get it on the row but not past the row. And you're gonna blow out in some cases. This one here, maybe we need to turn back a little bit too. Yeah, I'm happy. We can also adjust the flow on our VFD, or our well with the VFD, turn the pressure up a little bit. Taylor basically said, 8 is good, 10 is okay, don't go over 10 or 11. And what happens is basically you get too much pressure here, you can start washing soil, you can cause some issues with other things, and we don't want to do that. So but the more water I put on, the higher pressure we run, the more gallons we're pumping, the more water we're getting on faster. So that's also a good thing. Now, as we get up here towards the end rows, which start right here, it's gonna keep working past it for a little bit. This is run on an angle, so it might wait till the other side gets to the end rows. And then we're gonna stop, and we're gonna switch drops. So we're just gonna watch it here. Oh, that is so good. This thing is cool. Make it rain. Okay, it stopped. So the flow's gonna shut off there. And come out the other ones, and out here, yep, get all the rust out. And now it works back down the same path, and instead of unwinding its hose, it's picking its hose back up. And then it's going to do that all the way back to the center. Once it gets to the center, it's going to make a 90-degree turn, and then it's going to go out and go the other way. And it just sits here and runs, and that's what it does, and it's a beautiful thing. Cool. I'm happy with this. Alright, well, I don't need to sit here and watch this thing run all the way back, so we're gonna just let it go. Head out. Now, one of the cool things about this is that it is completely controllable from my phone, for my iPhone, which I'm not an iPhone guy, which is how I'm able to film this because I'm on my Android that I normally use, but I've got the 360 app on here, so let's see where we at, right there. So you can see where it's at. The green line is kind of where there's hose laid out. The blue line is what is done being watered. And we can see all our settings. We can check on, you know, how fast it's moving, fuel level, voltage, all kinds of different things from right here. We can look at that. We can see cameras, steer tire, hose underneath. Come on. Maybe. Probably not. There's a camera on the back. You gotta be real careful where you decide to take a pee around this because somebody's watching you. There you go. Yep. Cool. All good. So if something were to happen and it throws an air coat, there's all kinds of sensors on there for you know, the angle of the hose, the tension on the hose, or the water pressure, all kinds of stuff. If it were to throw an air code, I can look and see what the air code is. I can look at the cameras. If it's a hose angular error or something, I can jog the hose in and out, you know, manually turn the reel from the phone, try and reset it from here, or if necessary, I can come up here and, you know, do whatever needs to be done to fix it. But there were stretches last year where I didn't do anything to the machine itself for 6 or 7 days in a row. It just sat here and ran. So hopefully there's lots of that this summer. Real quick corn check because we're here, and this is by far the worst spot in this field to check because we're right in the corner where we run stuff over. You notice we've got a little bit of speckling on our leaves. I am pretty sure that's some herbicide damage because this stuff got sprayed when it was cool and cloudy, and it just had a hard time metabolizing that herbicide. It'll grow out of it. It's not great for it. I mean, I don't want it to happen, but it shouldn't hurt it in the long run. So you can see we've got our first leaf here, second leaf, third leaf, fourth leaf, and there's just barely a collar visible there. So we're going to call this V4 corn. It is almost time to start spraying corn. Probably the middle to the end of next week. We're going to want to spray some of this first planted corn with our V5 fungicide, and that includes this field. All still looks good here. It's so different this year because there's no generator. So it's so quiet. Like you can barely hear anything running here. A little hum on the well. I'll put this cap back on. And there's a fan on our VFD enclosure over here. And that's about all you can hear. That's the RTK base station. Yep, all is good. Let her go. I am not putting any fertilizer or fertility in the water right now. We will get to that point, but at this point right now, we've got a lot of nutrients out there from our starter and our 2x2 that corn is just now hitting and getting into, including a fair bit of nitrogen there. We've got a lot of sulfur there. And we just side dressed it, you know, a few days ago with all the rest of the, not the rest of the nitrogen, with the bulk of the nitrogen. And so we're going to make this first pass without any additional fertility. But in another week, 2-3 weeks, we'll start putting more nitrogen,
but it was
a little more sulfur.
What the heck? On my wrist. I got, you know,
a little more nitrogen and sulfur on. And we'll see. We'll probably pull some tissue tests and see what else we think we might need to do. I do have some of my season pass, my in-furrow starter from the Andersons left, and I might throw some of that in here on the first pass because it has phosphorus and potassium in it, along with some zinc and sulfur. And I do have some zinc we could put in, or we're gonna put in some more of that Ultramate zinc, humic acid stuff. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff we're gonna do up here, but it's a little early. We're gonna let it use the nutrients that we have already put on before we start putting more stuff on. Came over to my buddy's, guy that does all the straw. He's gonna let me borrow his corn planter. We're gonna go do a little replanting. Oh yeah. We're going old school. 6 row. Oh boy, fellas. This one's gonna be fun. All right, we're going back to the farm because we gotta load some seed up, and we're gonna go do a little replanting today. Straight piped. It's gonna be loud. It feels like this deserves its own video and not a tag on to the 360 rain starting up. We might do that. Yeah, so you won't have another video from tomorrow because I'm not doing anything tomorrow. It's Sunday. So let's just split this one. So I'm gonna wrap this today. Got the 360 rain running. We're gonna go up and check it in a little bit. That'll be in tomorrow's video. Yeah. But yeah, now we're gonna go replant some corn and make it a new video. You guys will see it tomorrow. So thanks for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Make sure you check back tomorrow's video to watch me go an old school planting corn with a 6-row 7,000 deer planter and a straight pipe 4230. Let's go.